Veno Lopes. Nice carving turn on the open face. Here he goes one more time and pulls it off. You got the man from Julio, Seth Moniz.
Blasting one off.
Jessie's backhand lighting up Haleiwa.
Miguel Pupo showing the reverse.
Aloha ka kahiaka ka ko. Good morning, everyone. It is the Hawaiian Pro at Haleiwa and Strider. It's finals day with no delay. Haleiwa's still in play. What do you got to say?
It's on, definitely. I like your rhythm this morning. There was a lot of flow out of that little freestyle one-liner, and I think that's going to continue all day, my friend. I cannot wait for you to spit some rhymes live as these guys are blowing up on the walls at Haleiwa.
Yeah, we got a lot of bars to come. We got a lot of action to come today. Quarters, semis, and finals. We'll be crowning a champ. We're going to start the action off here with Seth Moniz, and let's see what he has.
Little replay right here. So this happened while we were spitting rhymes, but he's got his own rhythm on the little nuggets out here coming through, trying to make it happen on the inside. And a great way to start. Not falling.
Exactly, right? Get a completion, get a score, chalk it up there on the board. Again, we're having 30-minute heats in these quarterfinals. Top 2 out of each of these 4-man quarterfinals going to move on to the semifinals. Let's check in with our regional tour manager, Marty Thomas. He's with Rosie Hodge.
Thanks so much, Cops. Well, you right off the bat called it finals day, but let's make it official. Marty Thomas, give us the good news.
Yeah, it's on today. Clearly, it's smaller than yesterday. Yesterday was a really good day here at Haleiwa, but I think today is going to turn out to probably be the second best day of the waiting period. Still 4 to 6 foot. We only have half day. We got quarter, semis, and final, so we should wrap this thing up around midday. We do have some strong winds, some northeasterly trades that kind of mixed up the lineup. It's still very contestable. Clean faces. We got a lot of serve. 30-minute heats. Guys have plenty of opportunity.
I love it. Lots of opportunities. Stacked quarterfinals. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Rosie, and thank you to our Hawaii Tahiti Nui Tour Director, Marty Thomas, also a former championship tour surfer himself. So we're in good hands when we make these calls, Strider.
Yep. He had to make a tough one the other day, and as you look at it right there, you're going, whoa, what's going on out there? But then you start to see how little the surfers are. Then you're going to kind of get a look at the playing field and how large it is, and then you'll start to see those little nuggets start to arrive. We've seen a lot of waves this morning. I think Marty's just hoping that, you know, he's got his fingers crossed that the swell holds through, and we get action all the way through these 30-minute heats.
Well, let's start IDing some of the guys in the heat. This is Veno Lopes from Brazil. He is number 29 on the qualifying series rankings, 30 years old. He's had some good performances this year. In 9th place in Ericeira, and that's how he got that ranking. In white, we have Jessie Mendes from Guarujá, Brazil, number 29 on the championship tour, number 33 on the qualifying series. Matter of fact, last year, Jessie Mendes finished the qualifying series number 2. He actually qualified for this year's championship tour before he hit Hawaii. Different story for Jessie Mendes this year. And in the green jersey, Miguel Pupo, number 20 on the qualifying series, 36 on the championship tour, 26 years old. He's had 8 starts this year as an injury replacement on the championship tour. We're going to see him at Pipeline at the 3rd jewel of the Vans Triple Crown, but Miguel wants to qualify and make sure he's on the big show going into 2019. Seth Moniz is out there in the blue jersey from Julio on Oahu, number 4 on the qualifying series. The 21-year-old looking really, really good to be on the 2019 championship tour. A win here would all but guarantee that.
Seth is looking really good for qualification. I'm putting him in there.
He's going to be a great addition. I'm excited of some of the scenarios that are already playing around with these qualifying series, with some of the new rookies that we're going to see, with guys coming back like Ryan Callanan. That's what makes these first 2 stops of the Vans Triple Crown so exciting, and so many stories for us to dig into.
It's such a different level of surfing. It's such a a different vibe, the energy, everything about it, it changes, even from the QS. You see guys come from the tour that aren't doing really well. They come down here to the QS level and they kill it. They do amazing. But when these guys jump onto tour, it's really hard to find your feet. It's nothing, it's not an easy task. And for somebody like Seth, who's had so much opportunity to surf alongside all these guys, you know, we're hoping that he can just get in there and start swinging.
Yeah, there's our top 10. Shaded out are the guys already eliminated from competition. So those blue names, David Silva, Seth Moniz, and the double qualifier, Kanoa Igarashi, all going to be gaining valuable points here at the Hawaiian Pro. Big for David Silva, big for Seth Moniz. Quarterfinal finish guarantees them at least 3,600 points.
What I want to point out, though, is only 3 of the top 10 are still in. That means that's huge for everybody that's not in the top 10, who are right there knocking on the door down below there. There's 7 athletes sitting down there going, huh, whoa, those guys lost. Okay,
Opportunity.
next contest. I have an opportunity to rise up into this. And the guys who are left in the draw, who want to still, you know, better their position on that, it's going to be amazing.
We can just look at this heat with some opportunity. 2 Brazilians in the way of Veno Lopes, 29 on that qualifying series. Miguel Pupo, 20th on that qualifying series. This is nothing but big opportunity for those 2 surfers. To your point, Strider.
Could be huge jumps for, say, Miguel Pupo to jump from where he is down there at 20 and inside of the top 10.
And guarantee his place. Now, he doesn't have to, it won't be like 2018 where he has to wait for those injury replacement calls. That'll just guarantee him on tour, and we would love to see Miguel Pupo, Miggy. He's got a growing family, and it'd be great to see him back on the Dream Tour.
And super smooth. I mean, just bald eagle through the sky, looking as strong as ever. Let's see.
There's the guys with opportunity. You can see at the 11 through 20 mark. Miguel Pupo, Soli Bailey, Ricardo Christie, and Leonardo Fioravanti still in the mix and still have a chance to just add to those point totals. Well, they are going to add to those point totals that you see in the white column. Giant opportunity.
The shaded names are gone. The bold are still in. This is going to be fun to watch this play out. My favorite time is when we start singing the song, and
we're going to save that for sunset.
Sunset, and the way that those names go down.
Here we go. Miguel Pupo chooses to go backhand on this right. A couple of nice snaps there for Miggy. Patient with this wave. Builds up on the inside and continues a nice rhythm on the backhand. A little bit of a fin release to finish and score that for Miguel Pupo. Seth Moniz on wave number 2. Pumps off the bottom, glides through the lip there. Back off the bottom. Nice arcing turn back into the white water, builds up speed, and a little jumbled water grabs the rails of Seth Moniz's board and lets him go incomplete on that final maneuver, but the first 2 moves were pretty nice in my eye.
Yeah, I like the way that there was attack and a little drama where, as you saw, Miguel Pupo just nice and smooth, but I think Miguel Pupo's biggest challenge moving through and so that he can actually start to move through those heats on the CT as well is making it look more dramatic, tighter, and getting more intensity into his surfing. Big float right there. Nice corner wrap right here. And then the wave kind of let him down a bit, but then it would have been nice to see him finish that. Came over, he was over the front handlebars a little bit, whereas you can see the difference, how smooth Miguel Pupo is. This wave was just kept on giving, and he surfed it really, really well, looking at it from the front, you know, where you can actually see the board and the lip, and you can see where the placement was. That the arc of the spray was just perfect, you know, and that's from a perfect turn. So great surfing right there from Miguel Pupo.
Got a 5.5. Still waiting on second score for Seth Moniz. He opened up with a 3-point ride. Mateus Herdy is going to be coming up in quarterfinal number 2, and that is an extremely stacked quarterfinal number 2. You're going to want to stick around for that, because that's a Felipe Toledo, our defending champ, Mateus Herdy, Ricardo Christie, who's been ripping through this entire event, and Kanoe Igarashi. That's quarterfinal number 2. Veno Lopes. Veno has been smooth and has had excellent wave selection throughout the competition here at the Hawaiian Pro, and it looks like he's continuing on with that pattern. Nice couple of swoops and a really nice wave to pick out of these crossed up, jumbled conditions.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a nice weapon under his feet too. He looked really confident and clean on the rail.
Yeah, he's got a Glen Pang underneath his feet, local shaper, and here's a replay of Veno.
Finds a rib to turn down into and then looks for lip line. So pushing around and making something happen right there. Nice clean wrap into that little power pocket that he found. Waiting next to that, you know, the whitewater zone and really finding that power pocket so key on days like today. And reaction times have to be ultra fast because they're just popping up out of, you know, the face at you. You have to be able to react right away to them.
Yeah, with the mixed swell and the mixed lineup, you got to have that quick twitch, don't you, Strider?
You got to be ready at all times. Born ready.
You've been, I know, that's what you're saying. So you are born ready. Glad to have you here on the set with me, and glad to have everyone watching here at WorldSurfLeague.com as well as Facebook Live and locally on Spectrum Surf Channel. Thank you for joining us. It's finals day here at the Hawaiian Pro. Stop number 1 of the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. We are going to be crowning a champ on the sands at Haleiwa today, and we are going to see who takes the lead in the race for that coveted Vans Triple Crown title for 2018. A lot of names on that board, a lot of legendary names.
Lots of names, and wow, the last one, Triple Crown, going to Griffin Colapinto from the United States of America. A youngster took that title, which is really impressive. Kanoe Igarashi prepares. Jake Patterson in the background that we saw a minute ago, just seconds ago, sitting there as a backboard for him. And it's going to be fun to watch. This guy, you know, it's an interesting look into this heat that's coming up. That all these surfers, except for Ricardo, are light-footed surfers, or can surf very light-footed.
Yeah, we're going to see how the dance goes here at Haleiwa. And this is Jessie Mendes. Nice series of carves for Mendez. Get a little caught behind and not able to catch it back up to the open face. Seth Moniz. Nice bank off the top for Seth. Another flying down the line, lip glide, and another one building up some speed down the line. Rockets to that end section, throws a carve, wave doubles up again. More opportunity for Moniz, and he finishes off that wave. Behind him, it looks like Veno Lopes looking for some open face and unable to find it, caught up in the whitewater. But Seth Moniz with a really well-surfed wave, and you were talking about being reactive, Strider. That's what I saw from Seth.
Yeah, energy too. Like you can see, he's turned up right now, and that's something that we really like to see out of the athletes. We see the energy rise and their flow across the wave. Here we go. Jessie Mendes. Quick check snap and then finds a really nice coping. I mean, that was a quick, beautiful turn right there. I think the wave let him down a little bit, but this was the second wave of the set. Look at that. Straight up into the corner. Finds a nice, fast transition snap. Looking down the line. Everything that comes at him, he's just hitting. And that's what you got to do out here at Haleiwa. React to those sections and try and take them apart. Veno Lopes taps into this thing, lip line, but then he gets caught behind.
You know what I really liked about Seth Moniz's wave? There were no cutbacks. He was moving, flying down the line the whole time. I think the judges like that when you have a lot of drive down the line. Your thoughts, Waz?
You know, I like the fact that there's down the line motion. I also have to heed the warning that the board needs to redirect in order to come up with big scores, because I feel like you need to throw that board up and turn it.
Pupo snaps on the backhand. Smooth face and another big backhand snap. Two-turn combo. Just riding through the whitewater here to see if there's anything else left in that wave, but he did the damage with those two big backhand snaps.
Here we go, drops in, looks for the lip line, finds a perfect little rib to snap down on, and then closeout section in the lip. So beautiful surfing and a little bit of, you know, a late hit coming out of the whitewater with that little, you know, foam around him. That looks good, it feels good. I liked it. Miguel Pupo is going to put up a pretty solid number right there. Put himself in a good, comfortable position in this heat. Seth Moniz is I think we're waiting on his score, which I think will be one of the better scores of the heat because he did that first turn, cracked into the lip. Next turn was a speed hack, but a little lateral. And then the next couple were down the line, those smaller inside sections. So he's going to, you know, be pretty good.
Well, judges owe us scores for each of the 4 surfers. When we come back, we're going to update you on those scores. Stick around because it's finals day here at Haleiwa. More of the Hawaiian Pro coming your way. Welcome back to the Hawaiian Pro as we look to our surf line forecast. As we can see that red blob over there sending energy unobstructed to the North Shore. We had a big swell yesterday. We still got a lot of energy, Strider, still moving through, and that is why we called it on for finals day here at Haleiwa Ali'i Beach Park. You can see the rest of the event window as it goes green and yellow. That is smaller waves. Those are the colors we don't like to see. And here's our hourly forecast for today. Yeah, through the day, we've got a short period north-northwest swell hitting the Tuesday. We get another little bump with a little longer period, but today we have surf and very, very contestable waves with a lot of action. So these waves offering up several turns on each wave, little chunky nuggets coming at you where you can just pop them wide open, caramel everywhere. That's right. You know what, and I think when we look at that graph for Tuesday, one thing that we have to take into consideration is the direction of that swell. There's going to be swell energy, but I believe it's going to be more out of the north, so a lot of that is going to be obstructed here by Puena Point. That's the headland on the other side of Haleiwa. So that's why the decision's made. We have finals day here on Saturday, and thank you for joining us. What an entertaining weekend, and what a great start to the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. Scores locked in, Strider, as we're gone. 7.5 for Seth Moniz, and this guy got a 5.5 on his last wave. This is Jessie Mendes going through the paces here, and he is going to kiss his backup fractional score goodbye and give that 5.5 a partner in his scoreline. Veno Lopes has been surfing well throughout this event. This could be a highlight of his surf career, and Lopes looking smooth, going through the motions here, making sure he finishes off that wave. You know, I like that turn that he did at the end there. Instead of racing to the closeout section, he arced a turn on the open face, and that was a great choice. Seth Moniz throwing the tail there, goes into the layback position and regathers himself. A little bit of progression, a little bit of aggression. Seth Moniz has come to play here on finals day. That's more of the Seth we like to see.
That's what we came for. Thank you, Seth, for putting down what you have in the back pocket. Let's see more of that, man. I see this guy surf. We see him do crazy maneuvers like that all the time on the free surfs. We saw him do one of the maneuvers of the year in Huntington. And let's take a look at this. I mean, absolutely throws it into the lip, blows the tail out, has 1 foot, 2 foot, and regains. I mean, those fins were at the beach on a laid-back snap. Amazing. Veno, a late hit, a little dirty. Then this turn right here, I liked. He could have raced to the closeout section, but he arced it right in front of it instead. And it was a great choice because the end maneuver there has been seen so much. I think that was a great choice of maneuvers instead of racing down the line.
Jessie Mendes.
Mendez had a pretty nice wave. This turn right here, all the money. So quick, nice snap on the backhand. Last maneuver kind of let him down a little bit, I feel like, you know, as opposed to what his capabilities are. So one solid turn. I'm really interested to see Seth Moniz's score for that massive blowtail, because that was one of the best maneuvers we've seen all day. I mean, yeah, we're only in heat 1, but it's like these guys are all out there surfing, getting their flow. But that, my friend, that's what we want. We want to see the progression. That was progression, that was power, that was flow, came right out of it. Great recovery. One turn wonder.
You're right. We're going to wait for that score. We'll be back, but just check in with Ian. He's on the beach, and we're wondering, what are the guys riding today? Ian, what do you got for us?
Yeah, thanks, Kaipo. I'm actually in the competitors area in the boardroom, and you know it's finals day because a couple days ago this boardroom was stacked with boards. Yesterday we saw a lot of the competitors riding stuff up into the 6'4", 6'6" range, but as the swell has declined slightly, we've jumped into that more high-performance shortboard feel. However, I'm checking out the Christian Bradley that belongs to Leonardo Fioravanti, and one thing I noticed about this is it's just a little bit heavier of a board, and I love that he did that for Hawaii. Most of the stops for the QS, they're using like a 4-ounce, very, very light, team-light glass job. But you got to meet power with power here in Hawaii, and when they've got a Magic Stick, they don't want that thing to go. So you're looking at large fins, 6'1", 6'2s today. I saw the same in Ricardo Christie's quiver. And yeah, I mean, these guys are ready to go, and maybe even tail high above the lip for a full Roseanne sometime today. I hope someone goes huge.
I hope so, too. And thank you for a little peek of the equipment that all of the surfers are using throughout the day. So a little bit of a step-up strider, but basically a shortboard design.
Yeah, I think a lot of the boards that are in there, you know, the boards are left over from the bigger days as well. I think, you know, you come to the beach today, you're high performance all the way.
High performance. What do you think about having a little bit more glass on that, a little heavier board?
I think definitely yesterday. I think a lot of that's from, you know, that kind of equipment you definitely want to have when the waves are that much bigger. I feel like today you're going to want to pull out a board with just the high performance written all over it, and that's what you're going to see.
We're going to see high performance. Look at the defending champ. He's going to be in the red jersey, white jersey, Ricardo Christie. And Seth Moniz up and riding again. This time takes to the air, tries to stomp it, unable to do so. Couple of scores checked in. Jessie Mendes, his last wave, a 7.2. Same number just checked in for Seth Moniz, a 7.2. Combine that with his 7.5. Moniz takes first, Mendez in second. Pupo drops down to third, needs a 6.11. And Veno Lopes needs a 7.04, 4 minutes and 20 remaining. Like that score for Seth Moniz, a 7.2 for the one maneuver?
I do. I 100% love that score. I was just looking at the 7.2 for Jessie Mendes. I'm going through the wave in my head. First turn, second turn, really good. Third turn.
Well, you know what that illustrates to me, Strider? There's two ways you can get a 7.2. You can get a 7.2 with multiple maneuvers like Jessie Mendes did, or you can get that 7.2 with one big progressive high-risk maneuver like Seth Moniz did. But the result, the number, still the same.
Yep.
Igarashi making his way down to the beach, and he'll be paddling out along with Ricardo Christie, as well as Mateus Hurdy, and of course Felipe Toledo. Let's see what the show goes down today, finals day, with Toledo in the water.
That's going to be fun. I just can't. I hope the opportunities are equal so we get to see all the athletes, which seems to be happening in this heat. You know, Jessie, Seth, Veno, Miguel, all having opportunities.
You know
to
what's
find waves.
interesting right now as I watch Mateus Hurdy walk down the beach with his Sharp Eye surfboard?
Yeah.
He's on one of Felipe Toledo's models on Sharp Eye, and he's surfing against Felipe Toledo. That's pretty cool.
A little swallowtail too.
Yeah.
That's high performance. This is what we're going to see, you know, come through this. And I think that's what we're seeing out of Seth winning the heat right now. That progression and power put into that layback jam in the lip. That's the kind of surfing. I mean, I couldn't see. That's what I want. The combination of the power and progression.
And I love
and that's been a note to the judges.
For sure. And I love that the conditions, not perfect, not giant for finals day, but these conditions very relatable to the surfing public as a whole as we turn our way to the heat recap.
Bingo right off the top, then bango down the line. And then a couple more Krakatoas on the inside corner to finish strong. This was the second wave of a set. Much cleaner, great looking face, and here is that massive blowtail, just beautiful, smooth run through that maneuver. And here is the 7.20 for Jessie. This turn right here, beautiful, slams it in the corner, and then comes in a little underneath it right there.
So we got to see the two 7.2s back-to-back in that heat recap. An illustration again. Couple of different ways to get the same number. Veno Lopes is going to have to get busy. He needs a 7.04, winds up off the bottom, slashes for that first turn, back up in the lip quickly, trying to fit a number of maneuvers in this wave, sticking through, hoping that it reforms. It's not going to give him that reform, so he's just going to get the number out of those combination of two maneuvers.
I look at those two waves with Seth and Jessie, and I feel like there should have been a separation. I think that Seth should have got another point, and so I feel like maybe Jessie got too much, and Seth came at 7.2. Either way, there's a couple ways to bake a cake like you're talking about. Veno, a couple turns, finished strong.
Is it a 7.04 for Veno Lopes in the red jersey after that replay?
Negative, Ghost Rider. Do not buzz the tower.
That means no in Waz talk. It's not enough. 30 seconds remaining.
Nathan.
Is that another way to say no?
Another way to say no.
We're learning so much vocabulary here. Thank you for joining us. And we are seeing the conclusion of the start of the day, the quarterfinal number 1. Just 10 seconds remaining, Strider.
It's also Wendy both out there, which means windy.
I love it. Well, Tony Moniz loves it. Reynolds Hayes loves it. The support squad for Seth Moniz loves it because he's on his way into the semifinals along with Jessie Mendes.
Reynolds Hayes smiled. He broke it.
I love it. That's great that we get to see Reynolds smile. And he's smiling. He should be. Mendez, Moniz on to semifinals. Who's going to meet them in semifinal number 1? We're going to find out because we're going to get into quarterfinal number 2. More of the Hawaiian Pro coming your way.
Let's see what Felipe Toledo has to give us.
He gets onto the open face with a big hack, coiling up, slamming the oncoming section right out of it.
Felipe Toledo, what's he got? Big air, full row, lands it. Felipe Toledo, he is the 2017 Hawaiian Pro champ.
Taking a look back at 2017, where Felipe Toledo kicked off the Vans Triple Crown with a victory here at the Hawaiian Pro. Can he go back-to-back? We're going to find out today. Toledo out there in the red jersey. Ricardo Christie utilizing his priority and tapping into this wave. A nice tail throw off the whitewater for Christie. Glide up through that foam, and he kicks out.
Toledo sold him that thing. You see that? Paddled straight across, got on the inside of him, and made sure he went. And I don't know, that wasn't a very good wave.
Wow, that is some gamesmanship already from Felipe Toledo.
Got to take a look at the backstory here on all these waves, and that was one. Felipe, now he's in second priority. Yeah. Ricardo Christie caught himself a wave, but it wasn't what he was looking for. There you see him right behind him. He paddled in there and made sure he was there. He was like, I'll take this thing. Little snap off the top. Got the board moving, got the feet wet, you know, so to speak.
Mateus Hurdy in the blue jersey, throwing in the tail and unable to complete that ride. But I see on the scores, Mateus Hurdy started off the heat with a 7.33. So the 17-year-old coming out and already has a good score in his score line.
That's a great score.
Here it is from the break, the 7.33 Strider.
When the sun was out and the weather was good, big frontside three. I like it.
A lot. We know he has that progression.
Pretty lofty, pretty kind of straight out though. Well, the fins weren't that high. I don't know, I want to take a look at it again. We can break down these maneuvers because there's such subtle differences that make them better or worse.
Yeah. Mateus Hurdy, 17 years old, out of Brazil, 61 on the qualifying series, but he is going to leap up the rankings with his finish here at the Hawaiian Pro. How much? We'll find out by the end of the day. Kanoa Igarashi, Huntington Beach, California, 21 years old, representing Japan, #1 on the qualifying series, #8 on the championship tour. Kanoa Igarashi will be a character on the 29 championship tour, guaranteed. Straight out of the water, Seth Moniz is a happy man. He's on the beach, and he's even happier because he's going to get a word with Rosie Hodge.
Yeah, Kappa. Well, my rudimentary arithmetic set has you moving past both Griffin Colapinto and Ryan Callanan on the ratings with that semi-final that you're about to go into. How are you feeling? I mean, you just must be buzzing and feeling the confidence.
Oh yeah, I knew after I made that round 4 heat yesterday, I made that quarters, and you know, pretty close to qualifying, and now just making that quarters, I think I'm pretty in there. They haven't like put it on paper yet, but I'm feeling pretty good about my points right now, and I'm just gonna try to take it all the way.
We're all celebrating you as well as the people on the beach. Having your family and friends here to witness this, that's also got to be special.
Yeah, it's pretty special. A lot of my family, first family, and my grandma, I think it's the first time down here watching me at one of these events, so it's pretty special for me to have them all here.
Well, Seth, we're so stoked for you. Can't wait to see what you do in the semi-finals. Well done. Good luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Seth, and thank you, Rosie. Got some Rosie math right there on the beach, and hey, we can't make anything official until the conclusion of the Vans World Cup, the second jewel of the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing as far as qualification, but the numbers are in Seth Moniz's favor, Strider.
And the energy still flowing out of him after that. He could see in that interview how the excitement, the feeling, the vibe. He knows. He's settling into a world tour spot for next year.
Yeah, he had Uncle Kirby there and the Moniz clan here getting that jersey. Kirby Fukunaga is pretty interesting from that family. Actually has a winning track record over Kelly Slater. A little trivia there as we look at Felipe Toledo. Barking turn. over a mixed up wave, and that's all that wave is going to offer for Toledo.
Hasn't really found the rhythm he wants in this heat so far. So we'll see if he actually kind of settles into it. But Felipe Toledo, last year's champion here, defending champ, hasn't found what he wants out there, while Mateus Herde has got himself a solid score. Quick snap off the top, comes around the corner. This wave kind of let him down, though. You can see him kind of having to push and find water and look down the line. He never really gets the sections he wants, and then he has to kick out. So he's going to go reset, try and find something out the back.
Heat leader Mateus throws it in the air again, puts down the landing gear, stomps it, makes his way through, continues to progress through this wave with a nice cutback and a rebound off the whitewater, adding some more points and a little bit more flavor on that big old rotation that he was able to do. Little sprinkles on the cupcake, and Mateus Herde's looking sweet.
Here he is, a little replay of what we just saw. So he found a corner. Section was pretty flat where he landed, so the score's not going to go crazy. He'll probably come in, I think at around a 4 maybe, or something right in there.
Wow,
yeah.
Strider Wazalewski.
Well, you got to look
impressed
at what he's doing out here, because what he did on that one section, where there was more of a real bowl coming at him, and he boosted. That was off on the shoulder of a lip that was dying into a shoulder. And I think the judging criteria puts them on doing maneuvers in critical sections.
Kanoe Igarashi, smooth off the bottom, little check off the top, winds up here, matches the lip with some power, and is able to pull that maneuver down. Ricardo Christie, little double pump bottom turn to a cutback, waiting for this wave to stand up, staying with the whitewater, oncoming section, and Christie bangs it and beats power with power. Nice conclusion to that wave for Ricardo Christie.
Solid surfing right there. I like that power surfing. He's a big fella. He likes those big, meaty sections. Kanoa found himself a really nice looking wave right here. This section had a lot coming at him. So hard to time it. See how undulated the lip was. The surface is just so all over the place, but Ricardo doing really well. Finding a couple nice little sections here and then slamming it home on the inside.
I like that he waited for that and really brought power against that section. Ricardo Christie, we're waiting for his score. We're waiting for a score of Kanoe Igarashi. Mateus Herde did put down a 4.83. He maintains himself in the lead position at the moment. Felipe Toledo, who's in second place and advancing right now, is going to be bucked off of there. But wait, here he comes, floating through that section. Floats another section, moving down the line, and a big slash, throwing the tail back up in the lip quickly. Dancing feet on right now for Felipe Toledo. Mateus Herde right behind him. Nice glide through the lip and is able to put that down. That was a difficult landing and a powerful lip to contend with. Wow, nice exchange between the two Brazilians.
I wonder if Mateus had something going on before that too, because he was pretty excited about the finishing that maneuver or the wave. Here goes Felipe Toledo coming down the line. Speed float off the bottom, slams it into the lip again, comes around the corner. Quick tail release, throws it straight back up into the lip. A little more energy out of Felipe on that one, which is what we like to see. And here's Herde flying down the line, throws it up into the lip, big meaty section, and comes down with it.
So just one move, but I think that celebration for Mateus was that was a difficult wave to stomp out on the landing, and he was able to do it. So I think he felt good about himself.
Yeah, see,
just
I like
getting
that.
his feet on top of it.
That section was real, okay? That was a big, heavy section. He threw it up into the lip and then tossed it out there for the landing of the float. And they gave him a 4.83 on that blowtail kind of reverse thing on that flat section, which I was surprised of. That was a big score for kind of
Well, we're looking at the WSL rulebook because that is how we get the numbers. This is the judging criteria. You can talk about that, Strider.
The commitment and degree of difficulty, innovation and progression, combination of major maneuvers, variety of maneuvers, speed, power, and flow.
That's what you need to show to get these numbers right here, Strides.
That's right. And the average score there seems to be what we've seen a lot of. If you're going good, then you're going to feel it. Excellent, obviously, you are feeling like you're going to make it through your heat. You get 2 scores in the excellent range.
Last time we saw Felipe Toledo when we left yesterday at the Hawaiian Pro, he got 2 excellent scores in a heat, a 9.5 and a 9.6. So Toledo was turned on yesterday at the Hawaiian Pro. He needs to find that magic again in quarterfinal number 2. No excellent scores as of yet. Victor Bernardo is here to support Mateus Herdy. And he's looking forward to seeing Victor over at Sunset when we get there for the Vans World Cup of Surfing. I think he's going to do well at that break.
Bernardo's a great surfer, super fast, huge buoyancy in his maneuvers. Like, comes out of those big air sections and just somehow finds so much elevation as he bounces off the top of those. Big score coming through for Mateus. Look at that.
Oh man, Wastradamus, you polished your crystal ball today, because that score for Mateus for that one big maneuver, meaty section, and the judges are acknowledging the difficulty of that maneuver. A 7.43 checks in for Mateus Herdy, and he takes a strong lead in quarterfinal number 2. Thiago Camarão telling Mateus, settle down, you got it. The new school coming out of Brazil. Is that storm ever going to end? Are we ever going to get out of the storm, out of that Brazilian storm?
You are not, but I'm going to tell you right now, that system will create a flow of other systems. And I don't mean in Brazil. So what's happening now is that Brazil has become a superpower of surfing.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful, and it's obvious in the results and the event wins on the World Tour this year. 80% Brazilian. With that, you're going to have Australia, South Africa, France, everywhere, the United States, firing back up, going, wait a minute, we cannot let this get away from us, right? They all want it. So they're going to start turning those clouds and getting everything going and creating their own storms.
I feel there's a Peruvian storm as well brewing, and we are going to take a little break here at the Hawaiian Pro. Strider, I love your insights so far. Mateus Herdy, he's been loving the scores he's been getting. We're going to be back for the conclusion of quarterfinal number 2. Stick around. Felipe Toledo, not holding back at all.
That's the best surfing I've seen.
Kanoa Igarashi pulling the triggerashi again on the inside.
Mateus Herdy finding himself in position. A searing pair of turns. He's screaming at the beach, give it to me.
Ricardo Christie winding up off the bottom.
Attack move. I like that.
The build-up for quarterfinal number 2 here at the Hawaiian Pro, and we are real-time in that quarterfinal. Mateus Hurdy currently on top of the pack. Felipe Toledo still has his hopes of going back-to-back here at the Hawaiian Pro. He's currently in the second and advancing position. Kanoa Igarashi just needs a 5.51 to take that position from Felipe Toledo. Lower requirement even for the New Zealand surfer. Ricardo Christie just needs a 5.04 to take that position from Felipe Toledo. 12 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, Strider.
During the break, Igarashi got himself a nice looking wall, beautiful quick transition, snap into the whitewater, big float, and the fumble. He was in the end zone right there.
Yeah, no prize. It's going to remain the same for Igarashi. He just got a 2.23 on that last attempt. He's going to stay busy. He's in the back of the line priority-wise. Let's see what he has for us. Snaps off that foam on the top of the wave, tic-tacs through that section. Together, foam snap, and kicks out. Ricardo Christie on a smooth-looking wall and a smooth-looking turn right back into the whitewater. Another big hook for the Kiwi. Jams it through that turn section there. Another jam for Ricardo Christie. He's been surfing well throughout this entire event, and that theme continues. Bangs that oncoming section for the conclusion. Score that for Ricardo Christie. 5.04 is what he needs to go into second place. Your initial thoughts, Waz?
Got that and some. Ricardo with wave selection, you know, on point, finding himself what he needed to perform. Because he's a big fella. He needs a certain type of wave. He's got to have something out in front of him, and he had it. Look at that section. What a beautiful arc to open up with. Throws down a speed hack and then comes around the corner for another kick. Are you kidding me? Ricardo finds the wave of the heat so far. This wave just kept on giving. A lot of work done down the line and finished strong. Swagger on the kick out.
Got swag. When you got some moves on the dance floor here at Haleiwa, you're going to exit that song with some swagger, and that's exactly what Ricardo Christie did. We're waiting for that score for Christie and see how that's going to play into the standings at 10 minutes and 40 seconds.
I love looking at those waves, and you can kind of just go through the motions as, you know, I look back into it, and those sections that come up and where they place the board, how far the board turns back into the bowl. You know, those are all things I look at when I look at surfing. I tend to look at the surfboard a lot more than I look at the overall, like the body movement, because I feel like a lot of the body movement you can get lost in, because that's where, you know, the drama kind of happens. But the truth is in the surfboard and what the surfboard's doing.
And the judges are probably doing the exact same thing, right, Strider? They're really looking at that speed, power flow, and where that board's getting positioned. And Ricardo Christie just got positioned with an excellent score of an 8.5. He moves into second place. Felipe Toledo, our defending champ, dropping down to third. Kanoa Igarashi wants to get a move on. Nice snap off the top for Kanoa. Comes around the corner, a big snap, releases the fins a little bit too much, and just blows himself out of the back of the wave there. So he's going to have to go back out, have another try. Currently in fourth position. And his requirement has been growing as the performance has been growing from Ricardo Christie. Kanoa Igarashi now needs an 8.97 to get second.
Here's a replay. A lot of ribs on the wave. Everybody's had to deal with it. The timing was a little off. That one, he turned a little, laid out the back over the corner and not into those sections. You need to turn as those sections are moving at you. Got to place the board in the meat of that section. And if you miss that, the board's going to go out the back like you saw on the last turn, or over the top a bit as you saw on the first turn. And the timing was just a little bit off for Kanoa Igarashi on that wave. He'll clean that up and get that clean into the corner, sweep it up, and get back out there on a nice clean dance floor.
Felipe Toledo, Strider. He needs a 7.31, 8.5 minutes remaining. He's second in line, priority-wise. What's he got to do?
Well, he's going to have to do what he does. He's going to go ballistic. But, you know, it's just a matter of the waves coming through and him getting the opportunity. Herday's looking like he's sitting out there in the lead right now. I mean, he's riding one of Felipe's models, and he's just holding them off right now. So if Geordie doesn't want it, Felipe's going to catch it, and then Felipe's going to go to town. It could work in his favor being second priority, because that first wave of the set kind of bumpy, second wave a little cleaner. And if that's the case, watch out, world, because Felipe will turn it up on the face and in the lip and over the top into the air.
David Silva getting ready. You're right. Felipe Toledo, he's the magician, but Matheus Geordie, he's borrowed the wand from the magician, the apprentice right now. Strider is in the lead on top. Let's see what transpires here. As we see the magician in Felipe Toledo working his way down the line, and you can tell already from the body language, not any opportunity and a priority error for the defending champ.
Big error, bad choice. He's going to put himself in the back of the line for priority. We were just talking about the magician. I think the real magician right now to talk about in this heat is Marcio Zubi.
Because he's making those blades.
There's 3 people on his boards out there.
Good takeaway. Yeah, Kanoe Igarashi on a sharp eye. Felipe Toledo on a sharp eye. Matheus Geordie also on a sharp eye surfboard. And so he's making the wands, isn't he?
Solid. Having guys this deep into the event. Unfortunately for him, they're all surfing against each other right now.
Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of friendly fire for sharp eye surfboards, but impressed on how many of the world's best are starting to get on that surfboard program. Here's our heat recap.
Geordie looking solid. Here's the opener. Bam! And look, those fins were high up above his head. Huge score right off the bat. Look at this meaty section for the big meaty fella, Ricardo Christie from New Zealand. Slamming away, core strength, beautiful work. And he's not done. He's got another one on the inside. He's gonna drop the wall to finish. Little swagger look back at the beach. And then this was the biggest section of the heat so far, and threw it down. That was beautiful. And it's hard to hit the lip and then project out over the flats, live surfing.
Toledo going left, building up for a ramp, throws it in the air, stomps it on the white water. Can he ride out of it? And uncharacteristic for Felipe Toledo not to ride out of that stomped landing.
I don't like it. Felipe not looking good in this heat. I'm just going to say it. He does not look like he's looked in this whole event. He's had poor wave selection. He's going a little bit slower than we've seen. The intensity in his body language is gone.
Yeah, I mean, in the round of 32, we saw him at 9.5, 9.6, nothing close to that for Toledo at the moment. Kanoe Igarashi also choosing to go left. Nice little dagger to the top there. Now has to go through this sleepy, deep section, waiting for the wave to build up on the inside. And he throws it to the air, but gets disconnected whilst in the air.
Kanoe and Felipe both kind of searching, reaching, looking for that wave that might make a point of difference. A little snap off the top right there, going into the wind. So this is a great opportunity for these guys to do those backside rotators, but that's not going to do it. You know, that it just kind of coming undone, not sure-footed. The wind will stick that board to your feet if you can get it up there.
Interesting now as we look at the priority squares next to the surfer's name. Number 1 and 2, first and second in line with 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. So heat control and a heat lead for both Matheus Geordie and Ricardo Christie. They can really put it to Felipe Toledo and Kanoe Igarashi in these closing minutes.
Interesting to watch the position here. As you see, you know, there's Igarashi, Toledo, and Geordie all have kind of a light-footed ability, and with the surf on hand, it's not big out there. You know, you wouldn't think that Ricardo Christie would be able to outdo these guys in smaller surf, yet he is. He's finding those waves that are allowing him, and those sections that are allowing him to put down that big core strength power turn that he has, and it's working for him. I love it.
Yeah, statement for both technique, but as well as wave selection for Ricardo Christie. Mateus Hurdy's interested in this wave. Let's see what Mateus has for us. Little bank off the whitewater, comes around that section. Whitewater climb there, vert. And now it's just going to have to do a couple cutbacks. Old school 360, just for some vintage. And Ricardo Christie continues to surf through. He throws a tail, incomplete. Now the door has cracked open a little bit for Felipe Toledo and Kanoa Igarashi.
Yeah,
2 minutes 45 seconds.
Say, I don't like it for Ricardo, for him to leave those guys out the back with time on the clock. That's a little bit weary.
So another Ricardo on the beach right there. Ricardo Toledo just pointing at his son saying, you got a chance right now.
He's got his lucky shirt on too.
Lucky orange shirt. Pops is saying, you got a chance right now. Those guys went, and they probably didn't build on their score line.
Yeah, and I wonder what the water looked like before that. Was Felipe Toledo in position for that wave that Ricardo caught is the question. Because if he was, I can see why Ricardo would go for that wave, because he wanted to hold him off. But if he was not anywhere near him, it would have been a mistake to take that wave.
Looks like a couple more waves coming through here, and some positioning by the surfers. Oh, we got some lines. Now it is decision time for Felipe Toledo. He's got priority, first in line. Which wave will he choose?
Not a lot of time on the clock, 1:34. Will he get an opportunity? Will there be a pot of gold at the end of his rainbow? And his rainbow ends at the end of this clock.
Sure does. Here's a look at the unabridged version of the heat. All the waves and scores written, highlighted in green, are the top 2 scores for each of our surfers. Real standout number there is that 8.5 for Ricardo Christie.
And it was the best ridden wave of the heat. I mean, a couple of those arcs in the pocket, kicking the tail out. Let's see what we got.
Here goes Toledo. He's got it right. Winds up off the bottom. Big slash off the top to start off for Felipe Toledo. A little deep on this wave, and he knows it. One turn.
It's not it.
Wow. This is going to be an upset.
Well, he really had an opportunity right here on this corner to go crazy in the lip. And I think he was looking down the line thinking he was going to have another opportunity. He didn't. He would have had to do a huge maneuver on that first section. Came up short because the wave came up short. And he really does need a miracle at this point.
Little inside wave. It's going to have to be the Hail Mary here for Felipe Toledo. Let's see what he's going to do. Throws it in the air, full rotation, and unable to get that board back underneath his feet. That's going to end the heat. We are waiting for scores to come through. Likely not enough for Felipe Toledo.
Negative.
Nathan, negative, and a upset. The favorite at the Hawaiian Pro, Felipe Toledo, is out of competition, but the youngster, Mateus Hurdy, is going to make it to the semifinals. Big semifinal coming up for Ricardo Christie. We'll be back with more action from the Hawaiian Pro.
Fioravanti straight up into the lip. That was insanity.
Geordie Smith, the championship touring South African.
Sully Bailey, Geordie Smith, putting it down out there, Kaipo.
David Silva on the backhand, big snap there. Gives a fist pump and he loves it.
Always expect the unexpected here at Haleiwa. This is the Hawaiian Pro. Stop number 1 on the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. We just witnessed a massive upset. Unless, of course, you're Mateus Hardy, who took down last year's champion in Felipe Toledo. Chris Cote here with Ross Williams. What a way to start the day, the final day of competition.
Commentator's curse. I apologize, Felipe.
Oh, because you called him out this morning on your Instagram.
Threw out a little Instagram this morning, feeling all inspired for Felipe, and he goes down hard to the Grom. So, but you got to give props to Mateus. He's looking sharp.
Well, we're back at it. 30-minute heat in the lineup. Some big names here as well. You've got David Silva, Geordie Smith, Leonardo Fioravanti, and Sully Bailey. 2 of these surfers will make it into the semifinals. 3rd and 4th place surfers will head on home with a quarterfinal result. Not bad, but if you're looking to either fight your way onto the championship tour or maintain your position on the QS, you've got to keep making it through heats. The points at stake amplify heavily as you go from the quarterfinals into the finals. I mean, you're doubling, tripling your points. If you win this event, 10,000 points. It's halfway to qualification.
Big time. So board change for Geordie. You can see he did the international signal, kind of rolling the fingers around, saying, "Caddy, coach, bring me a new sled." Probably had a little buckle there on the inside. You can see it right there, creased right above the fins. 9 out of 10 times you'll see that. These guys are so strong, and when they land a big move, there's so much pressure, especially in the flats, Chris, that the board just has to give way. There's a breaking point. And especially the way the pro surfers like their boards. They like them really crispy and light, right around 5-6 pounds. And as a result, they'll break pretty easy.
So the boards that you would go grab at your local surf shop are different than the boards these pros are riding out here?
Yeah, the typical board in the racks in a surf shop would be a couple of 4-ounce cloths. You're looking at maybe 8 pounds, 9 pounds, which is better. That's what you want. You want your board to last you a couple of years, but the pros, they want these boards really light and sensitive.
Yeah, they can last you a few minutes in heat for Geordie
One
Smith.
snap,
Push that hard. We got 25-18 to go. David Silva, powerhouse goofy footer out of Brazil. He's already put one big number on the board. See that 783. He grabbed that wave right off the buzzer for a launch pad of a start for Silva, who has been looking strong throughout this entire contest. And the goofy footer keeps on rolling with a solid start here. Geordie Smith, his first wave comes through a 4.67, and that's the wave that he actually buckled his board on. And this is right off that break, Ross.
David Silva, part of the, I think, kind of the growing theme in this event has been the underdogs have been ruling, and this is part of that contingency. Doing well on the QS this year, and so this is huge for him. He's got to get through, one by one. More and more points each round means a lot more. And I said it yesterday, he reminds me of your atypical Brazilian surfer, feisty, consistent, doesn't fall.
This is Sully Bailey. Sully Bailey has been on a competitive tear. I'd say for the last 2 years is really where he has started to show his true potential. Got a win in 2016 at the Vulcan Pipe Pro, putting his name on the illustrious list of only 5 surfers who've taken out that prestigious QS event. Sully Bailey had an incredible heat yesterday. Some high 9s on a couple waves. It looks like he's continuing on in good form.
I love the look of his board. I don't think he pulled off a real big move that he wanted to. That's something he had in mind, but he was flying down the line there. The board was even kind of catching air on those bottom turns, so looking fast.
Ross, it makes me feel really smart when I make a call very early in the competition, say, watch this kid. He could potentially take out this entire event. I feel good about that pick. Mateus Hardy has been blitzing through heats. He's on the sand right now with Rosie Hodge.
That's right. We think back to day one of competition, the first heat that we saw hit the lineup. This guy made it through. Mateus, the other day, you were celebrating the fact that you had made it through round 3 because it's the furthest that you've gone in a QS 10,000. That was arguably the most stacked quarterfinal in this round. How do you feel about making it into the semifinals and beating some of your heroes?
Yeah, exactly. Like just this morning, I wake up and I started watching Felipe's videos. It's like so great that I was there with him, you know, sharing the lineup. It's something like this so real right now, and I'm really happy to win. And yeah, I'm actually the last few days have been really great. I'm just having fun and enjoying with my friends. I already have like a good, you know, a good result, and I don't know. I'm just stoked and keep going. I don't want to think about like what's the future. But yeah, I just want to focus for the next heat and trying to do better than this one.
Well, something we've noticed every single day when we hit the beach is that, you know, there's a Brazilian contingent down the beach. You're one of those guys, and you're also, you know, getting some great pointers and support while you're here. Who are some of the guys giving you words of advice before you hit the lineup?
Oh yeah, that's Thiago Cameron, the shrimp. He's with me. Actually, he helped me on the event before at Marzias. And then actually, the whole year, we always together, and before my heats, he tell me a couple things, and that helped me a lot. And it's weird because he's competing too, and I competed at heat like with him in this contest, but it's fun. Me and with Morris, the team we call is Marcelo Traquinho. He's from Brazil too. We used to be in Volcom together, and now he's with me here in Hawaii, and we're. I don't know, we just like, he goes there and tell me like, go have fun, and that's what I'm doing.
Hey, it's working. We can't wait to see what you do in the semifinals. Well done. We can't wait to see him later, guys. Chris, great pick.
Oh, thank you. I think that was an easy pick. The first wave you saw Mateus surf here at Hawaii, you could tell something special was happening. This young surfer who basically, you know, he was ranked relatively low. I want to say he was, you know, not even in the top 50 of the QS coming into this contest. That is going to change. He's going to make a huge leap up through the rankings.
Yeah, you said he's 17, Chris?
17 years old.
17 years old. I want to say I heard he was rated around the 60s, but we'll
61.
61.
Ah, Rolodex.
And he's going to climb. He is going to jam really far up the ratings there. So this is going to be great for him. Even if he doesn't qualify, he's going to be stoked because he'll have a great seed for next year. So good platform.
It's really cool during those post-heat interviews sometimes where you see things sink in for the surfers as Rosie asks that question or that makes that statement. You just beat Felipe Toledo, and you just kind of saw his face change from shock and awe to almost excitement, going, well, if I can beat Felipe Toledo out here, I can beat anybody. That's how he's got to be feeling right now.
Absolutely, and that's a true statement. But he's looking fast, he's looking energized, so it's gonna be tough to beat.
We got under 20 minutes to go here now. Soli Bailey releasing the fins, blasting a little frontside ollie off that end section. But I think today, with the swell decreased a little bit, that's going to again open up for more the mixture of surfing that we want to see, that the judges want to see. Power moves paired with potential high-flying surfing.
Yeah.
You know, if you can do a snap air combo, the judges are going to love it.
Yeah, something I'm really excited about for today in these conditions is judges will reward big points for one move. And you know how fun that is for us, Chris. That means you don't have to string together 3-4 maneuvers and be consistent and kind of grindy. You can go out there and free will it a little more, be more explosive, whether it be what we saw from Seth Moniz in that first heat with a huge layback hammer, you know, kind of a power move, or you can go to the air like Mateus did and get your points that way. So this is going to be fun to watch today.
Soli Bailey's got to be feeling good about what he's seeing in the men's qualification picture. A lot of names above him on the rankings going down, and of course lots of points at stake. If you get third place here in the quarterfinals, you'll get 3,800 points. So you add that to what Soli's got right there, and that is a nice step up. Now it's about looking back at the point totals, the events that you're throwing away. Of course, there's one more big test, an opportunity to get another 10,000 points coming right around the corner, the Vans World Cup at Sunset Beach. But the task at hand now for Soli Bailey to live up to the potential he displayed a couple years ago and make a big push towards the championship tour. I think he, of course, is a surfer. When you see him surfing, you think, that's a CT guy, right?
Yeah.
He's almost there.
Yeah, so young, too. So, you know, I think for, you know, well, for Sola Bailey, you know, that he's been knocking on the door for a while. But you know, he's got what it takes. I think that's what the main thing that's so different from the QS is the schedule on the World Championship Tour. And some guys, you look at their name and what they're capable. Perfect little segue here to Jack. He's one of those guys that he needs to be on the CT. You know, that's the schedule that'll like kind of be conducive to his talent.
Yes, please. Would love to see Jack Robertson, who, as you can tell, is extremely focused right now. You know, mostly known as a free surfer. In the past, he's completely switched that up. And I know that Jack Robertson has a special connection with John Florence. They are two of the guys that I've seen video parts of them in the past sharing terrifying waves and laughing and having fun and messing around in waves that would scare 99.9% of the surfing population. What is their connection?
Yeah, you know, I think they just have a healthy respect for each other's surfings and talents. And they love, as you said, some, you know, heavy waves. That's where they kind of laugh at it.
16:50 to go. Sola Bailey pressing on as we see Leonardo Fioravanti a little bit more patient in this heat. Started off with a big score, 6.83. He's going to back it up there. Leo, of course, had a pretty turbulent year on the championship tour, kind of in and out quick. But you can tell he's, you know, once you've seen the Dream Tour, you've seen the top of the mountain. There's nothing worse than you want to get back there. And, you know, you could ask any of these surfers who have qualified previously and fallen off. I mean, that is extra fire underneath them to get back on tour.
Absolutely. It's a gut check for sure. As a pro surfer, that's one of the most challenging things to deal with, especially being a competitive pro surfer, is being on the World Championship Tour and then getting knocked off and trying to come back. It's just one of the most humbling experiences you can have. So you need to use it as motivation and not as a downer, just something to energize you. And that's what this young man right here on your screen is doing. You know, he's just got way too much talent to be not on a championship tour, and I think he knows that. He will be back. And you can see the swell dropping as we speak, Chris. So these guys are actually not afraid to have a look at these head-high waves, but they're still going to be the odd 6-foot wave, like double overhead. So that's going to be kind of the X factor today is if you get yourself a sizable wave and do a big move, judges are going to be amped.
Earlier this morning, we saw Seth Moniz do one of the turns of the event. It was a medium-sized wave, blew the tail out. I think the judges gave him a 7.5, somewhere in that range, and totally warranted. One big maneuver today could be the difference between first and fourth, and I like it. I like that the judges are throwing out, you know, big numbers for singular big turns or big airs, because that incentivizes the surfers in the lineup to do something wild.
Yes.
And of course, if the judges like it, the viewing audience is going to like it. Everybody wins.
I agree. I had a quick chat with some of the judges this morning, and that's exactly what they said. You know, the waves are smaller today, so we're not going to have as much emphasis on wave quality. You're going to be able to surf your way out of heats, which is what we always like. I want to see these guys surf, and whoever is the most, you know, on point that day gets to the heat, not whoever's grinding the most. You know, it's less tactics, it's less safety, it's just a little, you know, a little more flair.
Right there with you. Well, we're halfway through quarterfinal heat number 3. Who will advance on into the semis? You're going to have to wait and see. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more action. You're watching the Hawaiian Pro Stop number 1 on the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. The Hawaiian Pro is brought to you by Vans, the official clothing and footwear of the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. Welcome back, surf fans. We're into the quarterfinals here at the Hawaiian Pro. This is quarterfinal heat number 3. Leonardo Fioravanti representing Italy out into the lead. David Silva from Brazil in second. Soli Bailey from Australia third. Geordie Smith from South Africa currently sitting in 4th place, which is pretty shocking, unless you think of that last heat where last year's winner, Felipe Toledo, went down to a pair of rookies. Anything is possible. We've been saying throughout this entire event, we could potentially be seeing a sea change with rookies charging up through the ranks. We could potentially see a teenager win this entire Vans Triple Crown of Surfing, Ross.
We could. We saw it last year with Griffin, you know, went crazy at Haleiwa and carried it through and actually won the Triple Crown. There's Geordie's crew right there. Chris Gallagher pulling on that chin. Come on, Geordie. That's what he's saying to himself right now. And if you've ever had a conversation with Gally, he is just all-time, tons of energy, constantly just analyzing. He's really fun to talk to. But no doubt he wants Geordie to get on the board. He knows this heat is a little bit on the grindy side, so even a 5.5 I think would make Gally happy.
11:30 to go. Second score comes through for Geordie Smith, just a 1.77. We're used to Geordie popping 8s and 9s up at will. Right now he's showing that the conditions pretty challenging, and finding that diamond in the rough out here today is of critical importance. And if the wave isn't perfect, you have to make something of it. The wave that Seth Moniz got his big 7 on was not a great wave, but it was one big maneuver that got him those big points. So they're out there, and I think with the multiple reps you're going to get with the, you know, the amount of waves coming through, you have the luxury of trying for something crazy on at least a couple of the waves you get.
Well, Geordie's got a good mix of power. You know, he's 6'3", weighs a couple 100 pounds, so he can do a giant move that way and get big points, or he's good in the air too.
Here's Geordie Smith there. Just got a little hung up as he took off on that wave, and it kind of caught him off guard, held him right in the pocket. He wasn't able to get onto the open face. Here goes David Silva, current second place surfer in this heat. Steady, quick whips on his backhand. He's like a linebacker, you know, he's just got that low center of gravity. You see he uses kind of his arms in that pendulum movement.
Yeah.
Winding up, a lot of power goes into those backside snaps, and he doesn't fall.
No, he doesn't. He's a consistent jabber. You know, he doesn't go for the knockout punch. He just kind of chips away. 1, 2. That was a nice technique too. Through a you know, nice kind of round little fan of spray there. But you know, he's gonna chip away at a lot of those 6s and throw in a couple 7.5s. He's very consistent.
Getting down into it, 30-minute heats have been flying by all morning long. We're at 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go. David Silva is 6th place on the men's qualifying series, sitting at 14,660 points. So he's already going to be edging closer to that 20,000 point mark. We could potentially welcome David Silva onto the championship tour after this event. Of course, nothing's official until, you know, the final stop at the Vans World Cup of Surfing. But thinking if you're in the top 6 and you're still rolling in this contest,
yeah,
things are looking good.
Yeah, it's a fun stat to look at. I talked to Al Hunt this morning and said, well, you know, what's the magic number? He's the guy that kind of throws out the averages over the history, the top 10 in a QS the last handful of years, and this year it's, you know, he's guessing it's going to be around 14 to 17,000 points. Of course, nothing's cemented in. There's a lot of variables, but you know, so if you take that into consideration, David Silva is looking really sweet.
Coming up next, surfer out of Encinitas, California, Jake Marshall in green, looking fired up. He has got a massive heat in front of him, featuring Joel Parkinson, Patrick Adauskis, and Jack Robinson. And this is going to be really fun to watch because, of course, Joel Parkinson, this is his, as he says it, his retirement year. This could be his last appearance ever here at the Hawaiian Pro. It'd be fun to see Joel win. I mean, it's sentimental.
Yeah.
And He's definitely not surfing like a retiree. He's surfing as good as ever. And that's how you want to retire, top of your game.
Yeah, it'd be a good swan song for Parko. He's a Vans Triple Crown winner. Yeah, he's good at all three venues, Haleiwa, Sunset, and Pipe. Joel is a beast. So you know he's fired up. He's close now. You know, you might as well just go ahead and finish it out. He's only a couple heats away from winning this thing.
7:30 to go. David Silva with that last wave comes through. 7.83 or 6.27. So the judges loving the backside whips. Silva is showing them. He is now in the lead. Leonardo Fioravanti in second. Sully Bailey third. Geordie Smith in fourth place. Tense moments. So Joel Parkinson prepares for his quarterfinal showing. He was waxing the top of his feet, Ross. What does that do for you?
Well, we are next to a harbor, you know, and a river, so sometimes the water can be a little slippery. There's you know, all kinds of stuff out there, a little bit of mud and everything. You see even though sand here at Haleiwa is a little more brown, so he's making sure he's got some grip on his feet.
Goes Geordie Smith, throws it out, and doesn't come down with it. And I think that is what Geordie Smith is going to have to do with 6 minutes, 30 seconds to go. He needs a 8.59, so he needs a major comeback effort. So we know what Geordie Smith's capable of. Here's how it all went down. This is your leader, David Silva.
Yeah, so far we have David Silva and Leonardo Fioravanti, the two guys that are, you know, I would say have the most urgency in this heat. They're the ones trying to really get way up there in the top 10, and it shows. They're the ones competing just a little more savvy. You can see they're, you know, catching more waves, and Leonardo got this wave right at the start of the heat. And this was by far the best wave that came through in this chunk of time here. So capitalizing, consistent. He's got a 6.83 and a 6.43. We saw 6.27, so a lot of sixes, just consistency. No one really blowing up like we're hoping for. And no big errors or no crazy drop wallets like we saw from Seth earlier. So maybe in the last 5 minutes, we'll see some fireworks from Geordie.
Well, that would be a continuation of the trend that we've seen throughout this entire event. The last 5 minutes of these heats have been very entertaining. Sometimes even shocking with some of the big names we've seen go down with the final 5 minutes. You see Patrick Gudauskas fully focused. He had a great heat yesterday. Some big power turns on major set waves.
In a good position.
I don't think we've seen Patrick Gudauskas peak yet either.
No.
And it really is about peaking at the right time. And if you're going to do that, finals day, that's when it's got to happen.
Well, my favorite thing, quality from Patrick Gudauskas is his energy. You know, he never goes out there looking kind of cruisy. You know, he's always brings it with the energy, and he's psyched. And so that's gonna go far for him today, because, you know, mentally it's an adjustment right now. I think that's what we're looking at. You know, Haleiwa is half the size of yesterday, so people are trying to figure out which surfboard they're going to use. They're trying to match the energy of the waves. Okay, I have to adjust to looking for big air sections, or I think everyone's just trying to figure it out a little bit right now.
Yeah, I think when Haleiwa gets big, or anytime you're competing in heavy waves, fear can sometimes replace nervousness. And it's almost like it takes that nerves factor out, because you know, you're approaching these waves and you're going, okay, part of this is going to be survival. So you almost forget about the time and the scores you need. But on a day like today, you know, I don't think any surfer in this draw right now is going to be afraid of this size waves. So now you're going to see nerves start to overtake some of that area that was filled with fear. Maybe yesterday when we saw 12-foot sets rolling through. And it's going to come down to, of course, tactics, strategy, and then that explosive maneuver we've really yet to see in this heat. Nobody has kind of unleashed that one big move that is going to light it up for the judges. You got a 7.83 for Silva, but that came on the strength of 4 turns. He really made it undeniable for them to throw out that score. But still, not that one big maneuver that we saw earlier in quarterfinal number 1 with Seth Moniz.
You know, Haleiwa and Sunset, even Pipeline, they're always the 5th competitor, as you mentioned. You know, it's always that you're challenged by the conditions itself. So Now this is almost like your textbook QS event right here. This could be a beach break in South Africa we're looking at, or in Brazil. So again, just a little mental adjustment right here this morning.
2:55. The island time does not exist in a heat. Time flies.
It does.
And the later you get in the contest, the more you're going to feel that. This 30-minute heat has blown by. Soli Bailey playing catch-up. He's got a pair of 4s. He needs a big score, an 8.89. And that's not going to be it. So for Soli Bailey and Geordie Smith, I think we're seeing a little bit of kind of a flashback to what we saw in quarterfinal heat number 2, where we lost Felipe Toledo and Kanoa Igarashi. Kanoa, the leader right now on the QS. What is he, 10th on the championship tour? Toledo, of course, in the title picture. So the upsets could continue to roll through.
Yeah.
It would be a shock to lose Geordie Smith right now.
It absolutely would be. He's definitely one of the favorites coming in today. And Haleiwa is just right up his alley. He's got all the moves. He's really talented above the lip, and we know how strong Geordie is. So you would think it'd be, you know, almost impossible for him to get 4th in his heat. Nonetheless, look at the scores. You know, he just had a tough one. I will say it's been inconsistent out here this morning too, especially in this heat. And Haleiwa does that, you know, especially with the tides coming and going. They can go to sleep for 10, 15 minutes at a time.
Minute 30 to go. David Silva, by no means a rookie. He's been competing on the QS since 2010. But this could be his year. Make that push onto the championship tour. Soli Bailey was looking for a section, didn't pop up in front of him. And halfway through that turn, he realized he's got to get out there, give himself another opportunity. Here goes second place surfer Leonardo Fioravanti. Up into the air. So all 4 of these surfers for the better part of the last 10 minutes have been a little off, waiting for something to happen, not able to manufacture any scores on the waves that they've been given.
Well, one good thing we're in for right now in the last 50 seconds is Geordie needs an 8.59, so he's going to have to force the issue, which is fun for us, because maybe he'll go for a backflip or something cool.
Time is ticking away. Out the back, David Silva has basically surfed a great strategic heat. When you have the lead and you finish the heat with priority, you've done something right. It means you've not panicked, you've played the priority game expertly. Silva's going to have to be very proud of what he's just done. And again, we've said it so many times that if you can make it through a crazily stacked heat like this without really exerting maximum effort, you're going to be feeling good going into the semifinals.
Yeah, he's psyched. And it's always kind of a semi-team event too when it comes to Brazilians, and there's 6 of them in the quarterfinals this morning, and they are all pretty red hot right now.
Well, we're going to roll through into quarterfinal heat number 4. More upsets happening right in front of us. Soli Bailey and Geordie Smith go down. David Silva and Leonardo Fioravanti move on through into the semifinals. More surfing to come. We'll be right back.
I kind of was just in the mentality of just go for it. I want to just like send it in the lip as much as I could.
What a heat for Patrick Dauskas.
And Rabo, he is going to town on this wave.
Jack Robinson can't do no wrong. And Marco is Vela hot. Jake Marshall streaking down the line. Some foreshadowing there of what we're about to see, and what I would say is the quarterfinal of the day. You're looking at 4 huge names of our sport as you see the celebration on the beach.
Brazil
The
team
crew is
support.
fired up. What do they appear to be adding a little bit extra to this celebration, Ross. What do you think they're telling David right here?
That's cool. A lot of Brazilian legends right there. Felipe, Miguel, you saw William Cardoso. All those guys are already on the championship tour.
Yeah.
Basically welcoming them there, brother.
I was
Like,
going to
hey,
say,
welcome
that's
to
the
the team.
championship tour welcoming committee.
Yep. They're just, basically, they're saying it's not official, but it's official.
Yeah.
We could whisper about it. Al Hunt will give you the official email telling you're in after Sunset Beach, but he is definitely looking like a lock.
A huge, huge moment for David Silva, but he's got another big test ahead of him as he moves on into the semifinals along with Leonardo Fioravanti. We've got 30 minutes back on the clock as we go into quarterfinal heat number 4. Jake Marshall, Jack Robinson, Patrick Dauskas, and Joel Parkinson. Here's your rookie threat, Jake Marshall from Encinitas, California. So Jake, I would say, coming into this contest in an underdog in many ways. He's only 20 years old. He's representing Encinitas, so there's no waves like Haleiwa in Encinitas, but he's coming back from an injury, making full use of his opportunity. Jack Robinson from Western Australia. This guy toys with waves of consequence, and he showed us that he has the capacity to be a QS threat, absolutely ripping through every conditions being thrown at him here at Haleiwa. And Patrick Dauskas, you said it, Ross, he's got the spark, he's got the fire, the positive vibe warrior, looking for a semi-final finish here, and well, more importantly, I say looking for the win here at the Hawaiian Pro.
Absolutely. Good support crew too. The whole Dauskas family, they vibe well in Hawaii. They're not afraid to just nestle in and hang out here for a couple months, and it shows. They seem really comfortable out here.
Yeah, they're tight with a lot of locals here. I know Kimo, Kanaka Solutions, hangs with Dauskas boys. And there is a premiere tonight of Can't Steal Our Vibe. It's right here at the Haleiwa Beach Park. So if you're in the area, sneaking a view at the contest from work or from your house today, come on down tonight. Joel Parkinson, the list of accolades is as long as a Rite Aid receipt. I mean, it goes on and on. 3-time Triple Crown champion, world champion, won every contest there is to win. And he said at the beginning of this year, this is his last year full-time competitor on the championship tour. Awesome for him, bummer for us as surf fans. Hopefully we'll get to see some Parko video clips coming out because we won't get to see him in heats.
Well, we got Taj that said peace out. We got his buddy Mick Fanning that was out of here, and now Joel. So you know those 3 dudes are going to be hanging out with Dinko. They're going to have some really fun boat trips, I can imagine.
Can't wait. 24-27 to go. Let's go down to the beach. Ian Folke is with the winner of that last heat, David Silva.
Cote, another huge move by David, currently sitting 6th on the World Qualifying Series, but with so many top 10 surfers dropping out, he's making another big push into the semifinals. Can you talk about that heat and how hard it was to compete in the quarterfinals here at Haleiwa?
Yeah, I'm very happy to make it one more hit in the semifinal. And I don't know, it's crazy. I think so. It's the best happening in my life, and I'm so happy to compete again in good scores because the Geordie surf is strong and the Leo Fioravanti is big surf too. And yeah, I'm so happy. Thank you, my family, my friends in the beach, and Felipe, William Cardoso, Vitor Bernardo. Thank you, everybody.
Well, your smile says it all, and like you mentioned, your entire Brazilian crew came to welcome you at the beach. Everyone was cheering and giving you hugs. Was that just a moment you'll remember forever?
Yeah, the moment is best for me in my life, and these guys is amazing. Is the William Cardoso is the best guy for me because the trip is the words. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Making memories here at the Hawaiian Pro with David Silva. We'll let you get warmed up for the semis because it is going down next.
Parabéns to David Silva, looking pretty good here at the Hawaiian Pro. I feel like the emotion that he showed us right there, that sometimes when you're just that happy, feeling that good, it has a way of giving you that extra energy boost. And I don't think we've seen the best yet of David Silva, and that's good because in 2 more heats he could be our champion.
Absolutely, and you know, he's very consistent. We've talked about that, but David can pop a couple of big errors too, so he's going to be a threat all the way through. At this point, it looks like it's tough for him to even stop in the semis. You'd imagine him moving straight through to the finals.
You see the beach filling up. A lot of the fans on the beach are former competitors in this contest. And we whipped through probably the heaviest field that you're likely to see of the year. These events here on the North Shore, QS 10,000s, always so heavily stacked with championship tour surfers. I think we had 22 CT competitors tried their hand here at Haleiwa. Only a handful left. It shows us the future is looking bright.
Yeah.
With rookie threats coming correct. In this heat, 21 minutes, 30 seconds to go. We're at a stalemate. Only 1 wave ridden. It was a .27 by Jake Marshall. So the surfers in the lineup playing the patience game. We will not see a restart because we had a wave ridden.
You can see a few bumps coming in right there though. So see Jack, Pat, and Joel all kind of sharing first priority, so they can kind of scrap around and jockey in position a little bit, but that line right there already starting to steepen up. So hopefully we get someone up and riding.
You know, it's been said, Ross, the longer the Cobra coils, the harder it strikes. I don't know who said it.
You're on fire. I like the Larry David reference too, by the way.
Happens.
Good. That's good. I like that.
2050 here in quarterfinal, heat number 4. Spooky start. No real waves ridden yet. There's all these surfers in the lineup with so much competitive history behind them. You, of course, have to give the veteran knowledge over to Joel Parkinson, who's surfed probably more heats than any of these surfers in the lineup combined.
He's holding court too, Chris. Look, he's deepest in the lineup, so I think that's not a surprise. Joel is a wily vet.
I mean, how do you get past the sentimentality of a guy like Joel Parkinson, who's, I mean, he's got to be on the list of everybody's favorite surfer. Definitely, I would put him up there as one of the best stylists we have on the championship tour. It must be a really cool feeling for a guy like Jake Marshall to look over and go, I'm in a heat with Joel Parkinson. I'm in a quarterfinal with Joel Parkinson. You got to get past that quick and surf like that. Laser sharp until the end for Jake Marshall. I haven't seen him make a lot of mistakes throughout this event. There's one there. We'll see what happens there from the judges' perspective as now Pat Kadauskis gets involved. Flip side of that little slip on the finish for Marshall. Pat Kadauskis. It's the exclamation point on the finish of that ride, blasting his tail through that toilet bowl section. Strong start for Patrick Kadauskis.
Yeah, he's going to love that. Joel was deeper, but too deep, and that's the thing about Haleiwa. You can't get too far back. You just can't even take off in a wave, and this wave shifted right into Patty's hands. And I love the finishing move. The first 2 snaps were nice, but that finishing move, more flair, he pushed the fins out. It's going to be an awesome start for Patty.
We're now under 19 minutes to go, waiting for scores. I saw the Kadauskis crew earlier this morning. You just feel that bodacious vibes coming from that group. They are the positive vibe warriors. And they do a lot of good. You know, they give back a lot to you know, people around the world who don't necessarily have access to surfboards. They've done it in Jamaica. They just did it in the Caribbean. They've done it in South Africa. Literally have provided thousands of surfboards the Positive Vibe Warrior crew. It's not just the Godowskis. They have a nice team behind them, but they really kind of lead the charge there. And, you know, in 5 years, when we see a Jamaican on the championship tour, maybe that's due to the fact that they were given a board by one of the Godowskis brothers on one of their board drives.
I think it's awesome. It's a great way to give back. And, you know, those guys, they do it with so much passion. It's contagious, you know, and I like it. It's more than just a kind of a cool vibe in terms of, you know, a smile and hey, what's up? Those guys, you know, they live life like that. You know, it's definitely a way of life.
With the first scores yet to drop, Godowskis is at it again. Bit of a big section to work with. Solid finish there. And as he went into that last snapping finishing maneuver, the score dropped to 7-1-7 for Pat Godowskis to start. He's into the lead. Jake Marshall now in second with a 5.27 on his first wave. Some quick surfing. Good reflexes for Godowskis.
And this is his backup score. And as you mentioned, really quick reflexes to jam that little pivot bottom turn and hit the lip twice in a section that was only about 10 feet wide. And that was, you know, the urgency that we've been seeing from a lot of these guys this morning. A lot of the guys that need points, they've been surfing with that urgency. So he might have just grinded out a little 4-5, something like that right there. You never know, that could make the difference.
16 minutes and 45 seconds to go, waiting for that backup score for Patrick Godowskis. Judges citing that they want to see big moves, airs, tail slides. They want to see you get wild out there. If you do that, you're going to get rewarded. As we're about halfway through this quarterfinal heat number 4, we're looking for 2 more semifinalists. Who will it be? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. This is the Hawaiian Pro stop number 1. The Van's Triple Crown of Surfing. We'll be right back. I don't want to scare you, Ross, but there is a monster lurking underneath the bed. It comes in the form of the Vans World Cup at Sunset Beach, one of the most challenging waves on the planet. Big open ocean swells marching towards this beach, an iconic surf spot that really will truly test the world's best. And the last chance for the surfers on the QS to get those much needed points towards potential qualification. Last year's champion, Connor Coffin, showed us exactly what it takes to win that event. If you get your name on that list of winners, you've done something incredible.
Yeah, Sunset Beach is just a huge labyrinth of a competition zone. You could be surfing 2-foot Sunset Point or 15-foot West Peak. Here we go, Parko.
Always silky smooth. Joel Parkinson. He's one of those surfers that even if you just see a silhouette, you know exactly who it is. You know, I've seen it so many times where, you know, it's just the arm movement, the placement, the way he is kind of coiled up into his turns. Nobody surfs like Joel Parkinson.
No, he's loose. That's his.
I wish I could surf like this.
He never looks tight and rigid. He's always just kind of jello out there, and he combines that with power. We talk about his style a lot, but you know, his technique is really nice. It allows him to just kind of do those clean wraps. You always see Parko nailing the whitewash after a cutback. So he's got a good mix of that old school vibe, you know, straight into the, you know, the 2000s.
Look at his credentials. 3-time Vans Triple Crown champion, 3 times Van World Cup champion, won the Billabong Pipe Masters in 2012. really nothing left to prove on the championship tour. I think he wants to, of course, spend quality time with his family, but also quality time in the tube. No jersey. And that'll be fun to see.
Yeah, proud papa. He's an awesome dad. He's got 3 beautiful children and a wife. So no doubt he's looking to maybe spend a little less time in a jersey and a little more time on the Gold Coast, and maybe cast out his, he loves to fish, you know, he loves his boats, he loves the foil. He's kind of slowly just cradling right into retirement, isn't he?
Well, can't hang it up yet because he's still surfing through this contest. Now he's in 2nd place. So his retirement just keeps getting pushed off the better he surfs. Who knows, if he finishes, you know, if he wins the Triple Crown here, maybe he'll go, you know what, actually, you know, that's kind of the Kelly Slater method.
Yeah.
When you realize that you can still beat everybody, why not keep going?
Yeah, Joel, I guarantee you, you know, if he won the Vans Triple Crown, he would just be like, that is the perfect send-off.
Oh, yeah.
I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Drop the mic.
Well, he said he's retiring from the championship tour, so maybe he'll come back next year. I didn't say I was retiring from the Triple Crown.
Well, that's the cool thing about Joel, about Mick, about even Kelly and Taj. You know, they'd be the ultimate spoiler if they ever decide to do an event here or there. They're all still ripping. They haven't lost a touch.
11:46 to go. Things have changed from the halfway point of this heat. You've got Patrick Gudauskas now in the lead. His backup score coming through a 5.23. Joel Parkinson in 2nd. Jake Marshall with 2 waves ridden. He's got a 5 and a .27. He's sitting in 2nd priority now. Jack Robinson yet to catch a wave. That's scary.
It is. He's out there being ultra patient. He's trying to get 2 big waves. He's not trying to scrap around and grind out a couple little, you know, waist-high waves. He wants 2 overhead waves, and if he has to wait 30 minutes for it, the entire heat, so be it.
I think you talked to Jack's dad a little bit yesterday about strategy. And what was their strategy yesterday? Do you think it's changed today?
It was exactly that. Basically, just regurgitated what he told me. You know, he's told his boy to settle down, don't catch a million waves, just catch 2 if you have to. And I think that was really good advice for yesterday. Today, maybe a little more risky because the sets aren't that different from the medium waves. You know, you can get a big score on a head-high wave today. So it's a little bit more of a sketchy call for Jack, but it may not even be on purpose. He just, you know, the waves have been slow this morning.
The good news for Jack Robinson is he only needs a 5.84, and he throws 5.84s out in his sleep. One big maneuver from Jack Robinson would easily equal a 5.84, and the judges have spoken early this morning by giving a mid-7 on the strength of one big tail sliding whip. Seth Moniz. Sections are out there, but you got to make it happen.
We saw this yesterday too. You know, there was 1 or 2 heats that we were on, Chris, where it was like this. It was really tough, and the guys were waiting, and then all of a sudden, bang, the conditions just really shaped up, and it was bigger and more consistent. So it's going to happen again today. You know, just on the other side of high tide, we should see the ocean settle down a little bit and send more waves.
Surfer in green, Jake Marshall's in a good position right now. He's got a 5 and only needs a .84 to overtake Parkinson, get himself up in that advancing spot. If he can kind of just bide his time a little bit right here with 2nd priority. And I hope that Jack is going to continue this kind of uber selectivity. He could be looking good to potentially post up something in the 5 or 6 range. Where you see Tanner Gudauskas fired up, feeling good, sending out the positive vibes to brother Patrick Gudauskas.
Outside!
And they definitely do not leave any soldiers behind. They are always supportive. Doesn't matter win or lose what they've done in their competition. They'll come back early, stay late, till the last brother is still standing.
Well, they have a lot to be happy for right now because the brother out there, Patty Gudauskas, is just having a dream run right now. He's got a 7 and a 5. The waves are super slow. Pat doesn't care. He's like, let that ocean go flat. You know, he's just in such a strong position right here to make it right through to the semifinals.
There's Dane Gudauskas on screen there. Congratulations, Dane Gudauskas, nominated for a Surfer Pole Award. Short film he dropped, Blue Intensity. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend watching it after the contest, of course. Surfer poles around the corner. Another fun night over here on the North Shore of Oahu. 8 minutes to go. Gudauskas with third priority. See him right in the center of that lineup there. Just kind of looking around and thinking, okay, this is fine, Ocean, stay flat. I'm good with that.
He's good. His heartbeat is right around 50. The other guys, not so much. They're downright angry. They're like, come on, are you serious? They want that buoy to drop. They want a couple of big old sets to come in. And guess what? Only Mother Nature can decide. You have to wait, but this is how Patty G got it done. He's got a 7.17. 1 wrap, 2 wrap. Those were nice, but this was the best one. Watch the fins. Bang. I love that. A little more edge. So a good score. That's like the ultimate way to start. And Patty was really smart. He backed it up straight away. Parco, the old ledge, 5.83. Beautiful timeless snap there from Joel. And so he is looking good for a backup score, but still, really, it's just all about this guy right here. Quick 2-for-1 snap right there. Did that in a radius of like 6 feet, and it meant a lot. 5.23. He'll love that for a backup, Chris.
6:44 to go. It's a couple of waves pumping through the lineup now. Joel Parkinson trying to protect that second place standing. The wave kind of collapses around him. He's got to pull out. We'll get right back there into the takeoff zone. Maybe that wave would give him a good position to sneak through this inside and find something. I do see Jack Robinson making his way back out. He could have potentially just grabbed a wave during that recap. Pat Gudauskas now in second priority. Jake Marshall, young surfer from Encinitas, in first priority with 6 minutes to go. Where he's going to have to rely on all his competitive knowledge to make the right choice. Here goes Joel Parkinson. Trying to get around this section. Little foam climb there. Gets the end punt section and somehow whips it around, disappearing into the whitewater. Pops back up in control. You know, there is one thing the judges love to see, and that is to not see you. If you can somehow disappear and then reappear, whether it's in a barrel, in the whitewater like that, that gets them excited.
I like it. Joel getting the old bones to spin around right there. That was cool. New school move.
That drops Jake Marshall. Third place, he uses his priority here. Bit of a nice section to work with here on the inside. Gets the snap and the finish. Ooh, with the bonus section on the inside, blasting the fins out. So Jake Marshall surfing for a 1.34, did that and some. And how, I mean, for a young surfer like Jake Marshall, who no doubt grew up on a steady diet of watching Joel Parkinson videos, for him to take down one of his idols would be huge.
Nice carve there to open up, strong move. I love this little tail flick on the inside though. Right here, watch this little whitewash move. Dang, just to add a little salt to that. And so that's going to be Jake's best score. He's already got a 5. And here, let's see what Joel does. You can see this wave not very long, so he knows he has to do something special to get a decent score. And he gets the tail to swing around. So it's going to be an okay backup score. Finally, Jack Robinson gets a wave. Pretty deep in the lineup too, which always feels sketchy because you never know when Haleiwa is going to shut you down. Lucky for Jack, this one stayed open and allowed him to kind of milk it all the way through. No real big, huge moves in that wave, but he's on the board.
Yeah, he surfed that wave much better than the wave was trying to allow him. Manufacturing a score. There's a perfect illustration of that. He's kind of trying to do that again here. This wave, not super good, but gave him a little bit of opportunity out the back, and this is a much better looking wave. Gudauskas streaking down the line, your current leader. Deep bottom turn around that section. Wave still has more to offer through to the inside. It's a little styly finish. Gudauskas with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Looking to better a 5.23. I would say that's kind of right there in that zone. As we're waiting for scores to pop up for Jake Marshall. Joel Parkinson comes through with a 4.17. Strength of that whipping frontside reverse.
Well, that was a flurry that we needed. You know, the Ocean was pretty stubborn in his heat. Finally, it's providing nice opening move there. That's a vertical hit for Pat Gudauskas. He's going to finish this wave off. Didn't get another great section, but the section he did get was on the outside, and the judges tend to like that. That shows commitment at the start of the wave. You know, I agree with you, Chris. It might, you know, just be better than his 5.23, so he's looking safe at this point. Robbo, finally, you can see he kicked up the energy. He's like, all right, no more patience. I got to get going here. But the challenge for Jack is he doesn't have a big score yet, so I feel like he's still going to need a little something here.
Score for Jake Marshall comes through on his last wave. It's a 5.23. So Jake Marshall now jumps up into second place and maintains that second position in the priority order. So that's a good spot to be in for this young surfer out of Encinitas, California. And I keep mentioning the lot trolls that have Jake's back. Everybody has their local parking lot that they hang out in. For Jake Marshall at Seaside Reef. And the lot trolls are definitely fired up to see, you know, their guy. One of the other lot trolls that we all know, Rob Machado, most likely watching as well. And you know, the crew at Seaside is fired up from this young grommet here. 20 years old, just had his birthday. Just entering the 20s, and that's kind of prime time for a guy to make his charge towards the championship tour.
He's in a good position. Parko had priority, had a look, and he let Jack go, and that's the reason why Parko let that wave go. It was
sold him an absolute lemon.
No bueno. Yeah, it was a big old burger. Didn't have any wall in it. And so this is, I think, you know, Joel's in a good spot. He only needs a 4.4. He's got priority. Just can't have the Ocean go flat. That's it. He needs a little something.
1:26 to go. Wild times here at the Hawaiian Pro, as there is 10,000 QS points on the line. A huge total for any surfer either trying to fight to stay on the championship tour or qualify for that dream tour. We could be looking at a potential dream run from young Jake Marshall. Came into this contest ranked 24th on the QS. He's already going to vastly improve on that standing, as so many of the surfers above him on the list have bowed out of competition.
Well, he's in a sketchy spot, but he does have second priority, so he can utilize that pretty good right now. That's a real good thing for him. He just has to watch out for Parko. Parko has priority, and look at the lumps, Chris.
Oh, here we go. 40 seconds on the clock. Gudauskas in the lead. Jake Marshall in second. Joel Parkinson with priority, looking for a 4.40. Starts off strong, vertical snap, gets that open face, quick carve, almost goes down in his second turn. Here's where Parko can do some damage. Gets the big finish. Easily fighting through that wild start and looking for a 4.40. Could have just dashed the hopes of young Jake Marshall there, who was trying to play defense, but when you're trying to defend against a guy like Joel Parkinson.
3, 2, 1. Ooh. That was one of those occasions where, you know, Jake Marshall had priority, but he didn't stand up in time. But Jack did stand up in time, so he might even incur a priority interference there. But I think it was irrelevant. He didn't get up in time, and Joel most likely is going to get that 4.4. So Joel, little buzzer beater there, Chris.
Yeah, that's you know, that's your typical veteran move. Knowing exactly what you need, when to get it. And you got that last wave with about 45 seconds left on the clock. Gudauskas is safe. He stayed out of the fray. He got his big scores early in that heat.
There it is.
Congratulations to Pat Gudauskas, a semifinalist. Now let's make it official with who's going to move through in second place.
Parko gets it, Chris.
Yeah, Joel Parkinson gets the score, a 5.47 for the veteran surfer out of Coolangatta, Australia, trying to make it count for his last event here at Haleiwa. And we lose two incredible surfers in Jake Marshall and Jack Robinson. But both of those surfers put on a stellar run. Making the quarterfinals in the QS 10,000 is huge.
It's big, yeah. And it's going to be tough for them. For the next half hour, they'll be You know, a little irritated. That was tough out there. Not a lot of waves, and you know, they had a real great chance to win this event. Never feels good, but you got to be psyched for Patty G. Had a real smooth heat, and the vet Joe Parco still with a chance for the ultimate swan song.
Well, our semifinals have just been absolutely stacked with talent. We've got a lot of stories as we head in to the last 3 heats of this contest. You've got veterans, you've got rookies, power surfers, and aerial threats. It all comes down to this as the Hawaiian Pro rolls on. As we're kind of waiting just for the judges to finalize the situation. It's going to be officially Patrick Gudauskas and Joel Parkinson advancing through into the semifinals. Don't go anywhere. The semifinals are coming up. You're watching the Hawaiian Pro. This is the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. We'll be right back.
You got the man from Kuli'o'o, Seth Moniz.
Blasting one off that second maneuver.
Throwing the tail there.
And Mateus boosting early. Landing.
Jessie's backhand lighting up Haleiwa.
Got that and some. Ricardo with wave selection.
Welcome back to the Hawaiian Pro, and we are into semi-final number 1. 2 out of these 4 semi-finalists will be our first 2 finalists for the 2018 Hawaiian Pro. Kaipo Guerrero joined along with my good friend Strider Wazalewski on the call. Strider.
Wow. Just thinking about the 2 names that are going to jump into the finals here. And this is the first jewel of the Triple Crown. The momentum that you feel from making a final. I mean, just from making it this far into the event already, they're all Triple Crown threats at the moment.
100% is going to be a couple of the youngsters coming up. 21-year-old Seth Moniz and 17-year-old Mateus